Hello, everyone. I want to thank you so much for joining. My name is Jessica from Metropolitan Sales. We're very excited to have you all with us today for our webinar, Scaling Smarter, Device Management with Metropolitan Sales and Esper. Before we jump into the presentation, I just want to go over some quick housekeeping notes. You can feel free to send in questions or comments anytime throughout the webinar. Do this via the questions panel, and we'll go through a live Q&A at the end of the presentation. This session is being recorded. You'll automatically receive a copy of the recording in case you want to view it again. We will be sending you a $20 digital Starbucks gift card to help you to thank you for your time. Just give us a couple days to process, so look out for those. Lastly, I'd love to hear any feedback you have from this webinar. Again, my name's Jessica. My email is there, marketing2@medsales.com. Let me know if you have any questions or feedback on this webinar. With that, I'd like to introduce our presenters today. We have Keith Szot from Esper and James Gribbin from Metropolitan Sales. They're going to speak with us about the Esper platform and its benefits and how Metropolitan Sales can seamlessly deliver the solution to your customers. With that, I'm going to go ahead and let them take over.
Great. This is Keith, and excited to be here with you all today. So if you're here, clearly you're in the game working with your customers around fleets and scaling these devices. Now, hardware, of course, is the nexus, the endpoints themselves in terms of selling into these use cases and customers. But from our perspective at Esper, there's more to it than that. There's control, predictability, and avoiding chaos where you get that success for your customers, where you're going from 10 to 50 to 100 to even thousands of devices. And that's what Esper is about. We're about these dedicated device fleets. We do no BYOD. We don't do general laptops. We're all about kiosks, POS, KDS, handheld signage, IoT, and our infrastructure covers Android, Linux, Windows, and we even do a little bit of iOS if you care about that. And so if it's revenue generating or operationally critical, that's the world that we live in.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today. Again, my name is James Gribbin, and we appreciate you all taking the time in your day to join us. Yeah, we love working with our customers love working with Esper products, and so do we. It really makes deployment much easier, as we'll see in some of the upcoming slides, and allows you to scale. So whether you're starting off now with new rollouts, and as they grow, it really helps you manage all of your customers out there.
Yeah, so this slide is a little busy, right? It's kind of a stack up slide, but really conceptually, think of Esper as this operating model for these fleets. And we think in terms of like, what is the intent that the customer has? You know, what apps do they want tightly running on the deployed fleets? What are the policies that they need to enforce on the devices? And ultimately, because these devices are exposed to humans, whether it's a business process or whether it's a revenue producing activity, how do they want these devices to behave? And how do they enforce consistency across every device, across all these different operating systems that we support? We also recognize that customers are in mixed fleet situations. And so that's why we look at it from the operator perspective. One pane of glass, unified visibility across whether it's a Windows device, a Linux device, or an Android device. And this is where we have partners with OEMs that are aligned with Met Sales, such as Microtouch and Touch Dynamic Hardware, so that it's very easy to deploy. And so it's not just a device, it's really how do you cleanly roll out and support these devices on behalf of your customer in a way that you can make good money too.
Yeah, it's we're definitely seeing from the feedback our customers are giving us uh, on their rollouts that include Esper, that it really makes their life a lot easier, and it saves them a lot of time and money. You'll get a single control panel or dashboard, if you will, from your office. You can manage every site that you've deployed product to. So it saves you on staging. It saves you on rolling shipping, because it doesn't have to necessarily ship to your office. It could ship to directly to the end user's sites, and just be connected to the network, and then it connects to your dashboard and pushes down the images. And it doesn't all have to. It can be Esper can be loaded on almost any Android product that MetSales carries. So especially, as Keith mentioned, Touch Dynamic and MicroTouch products include Esper Seamless, which we'll get into in a couple upcoming slides in more detail.
Yeah, and so this is like the muscle slide, if you will. And we show it up there to give you an idea of the breadth of where Esper plays. We do a lot of different use cases. We, of course, have our partnership with Google, where we're an Android enterprise partner. And we have customers that span use cases all the way from like stadiums to payment to even like driving pizzas, restaurants. And so that breadth tied to our infrastructure in AWS and working with various solution providers gives us a lot of exposure to the use cases, which fortifies our platform relative to what customers need to be able to do with it. And ultimately, the use case opportunities that you can sell into, whether it's restaurant, retail, hospitality in general, healthcare, we cover it.
Yeah, they have a lot of great partners. They're not all shown here,
Yep.
obviously, but these are, we definitely see that there's a ton of great partnerships with and success cases with Esper that we can talk more about if you guys have any questions.
Well, how can we help you? James already hit on the rollout part of it, right? It's not like blast and hope and kind of create what we call a complex day one situation for you. It's using technologies such as Seamless, where you can basically get the devices staged, deployed in a way that is economically beneficial to you to deliver good value to the customer. You know, it's very much CI/CD oriented, which I know, like when you get into IT ops, they don't particularly like the view of like the cloud DevOps approach, but it's real, and it is taking that approach to have it be very particular and not guesswork when you roll these fleets out. Because when you look at it from the customer perspective, right, they have to deal with like system updates and app updates, and that's where a lot of things break. They don't have visibility into their fleet. We give them that visibility. They need to know that they have consistency in terms of their deployment, and through Esper, they can get that. And it's things like fleet health, getting that real-time telemetry, alerting systems, tight remote control built in so that you can debug situations on behalf of your customer. And then when it breaks in Omaha at 6 a.m., you can fix it. You're not dealing with theory. And then it goes back to that policy enforcement. We have this concept called blueprints. You define how you want a set of devices to behave once. You apply it everywhere. We do tight kiosk mode. We have great app rules. You can have fine-grained system configuration to get that standardization at scale. This control is opportunity for margin relative to the relationships that you have with your customers. And that predictability gives you the platform to build that trust with them to strengthen your relationship and expand your business with your customer set.
Yeah, it's a really multifaceted, excellent tool that I really believe adds value to your sale and saves you time and money. Real life example could be, let's say you're deploying product to a fast food restaurant that has a drive-through, an order here kiosk, point of sale terminals at the station, at the front counter, and kitchen display systems in the kitchen. But they all use the same type of terminals, just different software loads or configurations. We could ship directly to that site a series of terminals that have the Esper Seamless product on it, or that have Esper on it. As soon as the customers turn those stations on and place them throughout their store, the restaurant, if you will, and they connect them to the network, they can tell you where they place those serial numbers, and they don't even have to. As soon as they turn on, they can download the images that have been assigned to those serial numbers. As soon as it connects to the network, the unit says, hello, I'm here, pulls down an image, and it automatically populates. If you want to redesignate something from having a kiosk image that's to a point of sale station image, you can easily change that from your dashboard. If you want to change it to the drive-through image, you can. If you want to change it to the kitchen display system image, you can. And you can continuously, throughout the life of you servicing that customer, push down updates and redesignate images. Let's say a terminal went down in the kitchen and they need to repurpose a terminal from another spot in the store to get them through the day. You can go right to the dashboard, re-push down an image, and in a few minutes they're back up and running. So from a deployment standpoint, it makes deployment easily. From managing an install and staging, it really helps, I think, reduce your cost and time. And then once those units are up and running, you're setting user privileges to lock those terminals down to keep the employees from changing settings or customers from changing settings on a kiosk. So it maximizes uptime by allowing you to control them only being allowed to use the software that you intended them to on that particular device. Of course, this includes handhelds too. It could be a pay at the table tablet, handheld, a kiosk, point of sale station, and you can be accessing everything from a single dashboard, really making a ease of management. And then if something goes down, you can remote into it and fix it. So it gives you a lot of options and a lot of control without you having to send a tech on site.
Yeah, and so this is how we work together. From your perspective, you're not looking for handoffs. You're looking for orchestration with your customers. And on the Esper side, our company is very focused on outcomes. It's a little different than I think what you would see with standard MDMs that are kind of more general purpose, that we are really about customers need to execute programs. They don't want to juggle vendors. How can they have this hardware with management such that they don't build this tech debt? How can they align with the hardware to reduce friction? And for us, it really is about like software intent, enforcement, visibility, and life cycle to get the outcome that the customer seeks with these revenue producing key business operation oriented devices. And that's where it is very natural for us to have this strong partnership with Met Sales.
And we enjoy working with Esper. They've been great partners. They really support our customers well, and they work well with the manufacturers of the products that Metropolitan Sales carry, including Touch Dynamic and Microtouch. Both include, and we'll get into this more, the suite of Esper on their product lines, but we can work together with other manufacturers to add more avenues if needed as well. But I think it's a great solution that, as Keith has mentioned, allows you to scale and not get overwhelmed.
Yeah, so it does relate to seamless, and this is a great example with Microtouch. It's important to understand that as Esper, we're a good citizen in the world of Android, and so we support all the Google programs with Android Enterprise, like Zero Touch Enrollment. But in order to do Esper Seamless, it requires close collaboration with the OEMs, and we're kind of operating system geeks. We work at a level lower than what you would expect most MDMs to do. So in the example of Microtouch, we actually work with them to integrate seamless into certain product lines that they have. And with that, it becomes, it's like gives you the flexibility where you can have different screen sizes, you can have true zero touch deployment, like no touch. So essentially, in partnership between Met Sales, Esper, and the work that we do with these key OEMs is you're selling a deployment strategy across these different use cases for QSR, retail, kiosks, hospitality, and Seamless gives you a repeatable playbook that you can spread across your customers. And it's not a custom project. It is literally built in collaboration with these OEMs. And I think, James, we got an interesting example for you to take us through here.
Yeah, this is a cool one. This is one of a company that does called Home Run Dugout that makes an interactive batting cage game. So you actually it pitches balls to you, and you can you hit the ball at a screen, and it's a whole game, kind of like the Top Golf type scenario, but with baseball. And I think you can play in like all different stadiums, and they have different batting games that you can play, and it's a lot, you can compete with your friends, and they're appearing all over. So they did a huge rollout with their product at in Houston at the Astros Stadium, and this is an example of that on the screen. But we saw them again this November, and great product. And they had a cool turnout at the IAPA conference, the amusement park show, showing this their product, and Esper is working out very well for them.
They hit a home run, right, James?
Yes, sir. Grand
Uh-huh.
slam.
There you
See what
go.
you did there.
Yeah, and so from a seamless visioning perspective, we talked about it, but it is important to understand that it is specific to certain SKUs that these OEMs offer. Again, we work across Android in general. We both do the Google program, which is called Google Mobile Services, or GMS, as an Android enterprise partner. We work against the open source variants that OEMs provide. But the key is between Microtouch and Touch Dynamic, we have done the work with them to integrate into their models. And that means from a perspective of procurement, you do need to purchase the particular SKUs that have Seamless embedded in them. And then you get the benefits of deployment. And by the way, the resiliency that these devices can't be deployed for anything else that the customer doesn't want them to be deployed. Two, if the device is stolen or somebody factory resets it, it will go back to the state that is intended by the customer, and it can't be removed from that. So it completely puts it in the hand of the customer how they want this device to be used for the use case that they're deploying it for.
Yeah. So of course, both Microtouch and Touch Dynamic are great partners of Metropolitan Sales, and great companies to work with. Pretty much, as far as I understand, every Android product from Microtouch and every Android product from Touch Dynamic uh, can be deployed with an Esper Seamless version,
Yep.
which is huge. It really enables, and the breadth of product is large. You pretty much have 10-inch, 15.6-inch, 21.5-inch, and 27-inch screens from Microtouch, and tablet, and they have a 10-inch tablet now that I believe is being certified with Esper Seamless as well, and they have a media player. So it's a very large breadth of product. We use them in a lot of kiosks. A cool use case is the Delta Club. It uses Esper behind the scenes in a product, and both tablets and kiosks, depending on the Delta Club, being used for use to reserve different services that they offer within the Delta Club that they have available. With Touch Dynamic, they have a range of product that goes from pay at the table handhelds, tablets, point of sale terminals, kitchen display systems, and kiosks. Microtouch has kitchen display systems also, but it's a very large breadth of product. These 8 pictures on the screen don't encompass everything, but between these 2 brands, it gives you a huge outcry. Of course, we mentioned it earlier, but I don't want to glaze over it. You can use Esper on Linux. You can use Esper on iOS products, and as well as it can be, it's in beta with Windows right now. So if you have uh, a Windows use case that you think that might make sense with, we'd love to talk to you about it.
And this leads to Partner Control Center. So when you look at the various MDMs that are out there, we recognize that for companies that are MSPs or have the opportunity to be able to manage fleets on behalf of their customers, it ties into our philosophy is that you need to have it isolated at what we call a tenant level. And so a tenant is kind of a cloud construct thing. So that way that customer has all their policies and blueprints and users in their own little bucket that is protected from everybody else. That's very important. But if you're an MSP and you have a whole bunch of customers, how do you navigate this on their behalf? And that's where Partner Control Center comes in. You can have multiple tenants where you have full visibility across your customer set, a single view. You can see count, device state, health. And then from that, you can jump into your particular customer's tenant with a click. And you have team level control over access that you can grant to your own organization. So that way you can have a very smooth way to be able to support your customers with what I call the bird's eye view across all the tenants that map to your customer. So this is not just about selling hardware, it is about potentially selling a service if that's your business, and have a very smooth way to navigate it through Esper so that you can build that long-term relationship and get that ongoing visibility through Partner Control Center into recurring value and therefore recurring revenue for you.
And it works very well. The customers that we have many customers that are using Esper now. Some of them with large deployments through to many different restaurants and of different types and locations throughout the country. And from what they describe to us, it's just one access panel that they go to, and they can drill down to a restaurant and then to a specific device in a restaurant. And quickly, I've been on phone calls with customers where they've been able to drill right down to a specific handheld, pull up the serial number and tell me the battery life when we were discussing a battery concern. So it's actually pretty neat the way that works.
Yep,
Don't have
very
much
easy
more
to
to add.
use.
Yeah, but
Yep.
simple to use. Yeah.
Woo, what's coming up? Wow. You know, everybody says like AI, AI, AI. Okay, fine. But AI has highlighted a focus on compliance and security posture. It's always been important. And so it goes to like, how do you have that auditability? How do you have that observability? And how do you make sure that your fleet for your use case are in compliance and have the proper security posture? That relates back to Esper, where we have the blueprint, which is the source of truth for how the IT operator needs to see that device in terms of their state and its stance. And from that, you can observe devices that are what we call in drift, meaning they're not meeting the compliance and security posture that you have set for that device to make it very easy for the customers to manage this shift. You know, another one is kind of the growth of mixed fleets. Customers want to be in a position to use the right hardware plus operating system combination for their particular use case and have the right CPU underneath it. There's a lot going on right now relative to like NPUs and CPUs, and you know, you can now do ARM on Windows on the edge, and so there's just a lot of things going on. And I think that with Esper, because we support these operating systems in their totality, and that's why Windows was very important for us to introduce. We want to give customers one pane of glass to be able to operate out of, to cover all these different type of operating systems with chips underneath for their different use cases. And that kind of relates to, kind of the big shift that we see with enterprise customers is they want fewer surprises. They want predictability from day one where they deploy, and they want that hardware aligned with the device management to reduce the risk. So this isn't just about product updates per se, it is about a cleaner fleet operating model that enterprise customers seek to keep the trains running and the revenue flowing.
Yeah, it's exciting, and we're excited about the partnership with Esper growing in 2026 with potentially new hardware providers. If you have a specific opportunity on a specific piece of hardware, please that you get from us, please let us know. And there's definitely avenues that you can use Esper on that device. You're not limited to MicroTouch and Touch Dynamic, as well as we're excited about Windows being added into part of the portfolio. That's an exciting time. So it really allows you, like he said, to have a mixed fleet. You can have handhelds in the front running Android, a kiosk running Android, and then in the back you may have a Windows unit, you may have a Linux kitchen display system. Who knows? So, and it could be mixed onto one dashboard that you're running it from. So that's it's very neat and I think incredibly useful value to you to be able to manage your deployments and manage all of your customers' products in the field.
Yeah,
So
it kind of loops, yeah, it loops back around like Linux, throw it out there, right? Linux is different. I think that we have done a very elegant implementation to manage Linux-based devices that will work for you and your customers. That's different than how other platforms have tried to do this. So it kind of opens it up, like, don't be fearful of Linux if that's a pull or a demand from your customer, because using Esper, it could be something that could be run by an IT operations team, including yourself, if you wish to. And then with Windows, it's really like, well, for the use cases that Esper supports, how do we build management of Windows specific to that? We're not trying to be general purpose. It's not laptops. And then, of course, we have Android, where we have big breadth to support these use cases. And then iOS, it's the walled garden. It is what it is based on what Apple provides, and we do what we need to do for the types of use cases that we think iOS devices will be used for.
yeah, great. I've been mentioning I've been leaning on an example with restaurants, but of course, we're seeing these deployed in so many applications. It could be kiosks in airport lounges, kiosks in retail grocery environments, behind deli counters and up at the front of the store in a grocery lane checkout. So it's actually really widely deployed in a large many verticals: healthcare applications, patient check-in kiosks, all different scenarios. So get creative if you have any. Don't think that your opportunity doesn't fit this vertical or this application. It definitely could. I think we're open to questions too in the chat, right, Jessica?
Yeah, I want to thank you both for this presentation. I found it very informative, and I hope you all did too. This is a great time to put questions in the chat, and we will answer some of them live.
Awesome.
One question we got about the different industries that Esper can be used in besides restaurants, and I believe, James, you were just covering that a bit, but any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, go ahead, Keith. What have you seen?
Yeah, because of our flexibility in terms of what we provide, and again, this is a difference between being MDM and infrastructure. is that we have a lot of activity in headless Android use cases, whether it's a communication device. We actually have a customer that's doing a computer vision-based solution for fabric quality control manufacturing. We get drawn into the payment space a lot. And so essentially for like terminals that perform payment, certainly, the traditional use cases around POS, in store, in restaurant with kiosk, line busting tablet, right? That's definitely our meat and potatoes. But I think the key is the flexibility of what we provide, and especially if we can collaborate with the customer, can lead to modern solutions. And what I mean by that is we have a category of customers that are purely automating via code in the cloud to basically control and manage their fleet. That's an extreme. Because we expose everything via cloud API, we're available to that. We have a great console. So if you're more traditional IT ops and you want to work through a console, and especially if you want to do it as an MSP through PCC, it's smooth and it's very nice to use because we're just focused on these use cases. So there's not a lot of clutter around it. But there is a category where if you can build code to automate, there is great opportunity depending on what your core competencies are or who you can partner with, because those solutions please the customer to no end and they're super efficient. So arguably they create high margin opportunities to differentiate and provide values to your customers. But again, I go back to, if you want to use a console for meat and potatoes, go for it. You're good.
Awesome. Thanks, Keith. Yeah, just a reminder, this is recorded. I see some people are asking about the recording. There's another question about Windows. I believe this was covered, but Windows is readily available now?
It is. Yes. And so if you want to try Esper, we have a trial. You just sign up online. And Windows is a part of that. And so you basically can choose your adventure within the console. If you want to provision a Windows device, a Linux device, an iOS device, an Android device, it's all available to you. No gates, just go for it.
Awesome. What is the best step to get started with Esper?
Sign up for a free trial. So yeah, sign up, express your interest in terms of how you'd like to engage. Like a lot of our users know what they want and they just sign up and off they go and they don't need any help. If you would like to engage with us, we have our pre-sales team. They're very technically adept. If you have a particular use case you would like to explore, we're quite happy to do so to figure out how to have the best fit. So it depends on your technical sophistication balanced against the complexity of the solution that you're trying to build. And we're very open to help. And so it really is sign up, play with it, jump in and ask us questions, and we'll get a sales engineer on it with you to try to figure it out and see how we can help. So that is the call to action, if you will, there is like go to esper.io, sign up for a free trial, engage, and see what you think.
You can also reach out to any of the Met Sales team if you have a Met Sales
Good
account
point.
manager that you work with.
Good point.
You can contact us, and then we can introduce you to the Esper team as well to make sure that you get a smooth onboarding process. We have a lot of experience navigating at Met Sales, navigating the onboarding process with Esper too, and can totally assist you with that.
Yeah, you should definitely do that, and try to get James if you can.
Well, thank you for that, Keith. But we're all here to help. So the whole Met Sales team has been loved engaging with Esper over the past few years of this partnership, and it's exciting. It's an exciting product, and I think it does not, which is why we're presenting it to you. We're excited about the value that I really feel it adds to you, and that the cost savings that it can really add to your deployments. The ease of use, the minimizing downtime, locking down the terminals, being able to not have to spend hours staging units. It all adds up greatly, and I think it gives you the ability to provide a much smoother onboarding process to your customers, make your rollouts easier, make your life easier. And I fully feel that the product is a great value add for you to add to your customers and save you time and money in the long run.
Yeah,
Thanks,
it's a
guys. A couple more questions. Oh, go ahead, Keith.
yeah. No, it's an increased efficiency, right? Which is a better outcome for the customer that they're happy with, which is more operationally efficient for you, but yet you can make margin off of it. So it's like the best of both worlds.
Awesome. Okay. Another question we have here. Are there integrations into help desk solutions like Zendesk?
Um, you can do it via API. So if you're looking at like a direct connector into Zendesk, we don't have that kind of connector, but what customers do is utilize cloud APIs to build that integration themselves to their specification. Like one common use case is integrating the ability to jump directly into a remote control out of Zendesk. So think of it as like you're a frontline customer support person. You can basically query our cloud API to populate Zendesk with that particular device, and then based on using our role-based access control for that particular person, they can click a link and they'll jump right into remote control in our console. And so it makes it super smooth. So there is a little bit of setup work that you need to do, but we can give you examples of how to accomplish that via our cloud APIs. And that way you can create a super cool coordinated experience between frontline support and what needs to be done through our console to solve the customer problem quickly.
Cool. Thank you. Does Esper work with scanners and printers?
Um, Well, so I need to parse that question a bit where there is the concept of actually managing a printer, and we don't directly manage the printer ourselves. But as far as the printer working on a device or a scanner working on a device that is managed by Esper, yes, absolutely. And then having visibility into that device through the console, yes. But actually being device management on a printer itself, we don't do that as of today.
Just scanners. Okay. Here's another question. Is pricing all in US or based on the country where it's being deployed?
We have a single pricing model worldwide that we offer. And we are available in all countries where it's legal for a US entity to do business with, which does highlight the point that we are a worldwide company and we have all the continents covered except for Antarctica with customers. And so that leads to the worldwide exposure relative to these use cases. But it is consistent pricing in US dollars on a worldwide basis.
Great, thank you. I think that's all the questions I see for now. If there's any other questions or if something comes up afterwards, like I said, you'll all get a copy of the recording. The contact info for Keith and James is right there. I'll give you guys a closing last thought if you have anything, Keith and James.
Yeah. I mean, scaling hardware is part of the challenge. I would call it scaling predictability is really hard. And having that alignment with your customers from day one reduces pain. And if you have it nailed, creates delight. I think that's where Met Sales and Esper together, we put you in a situation where you have fewer unknowns before they become escalations. And so it goes to the invitation of, try it out, bring Met Sales and us in to pressure test these early deployments. That's where the trust and the value is really created. And so if it's microtouch, touch dynamic SKUs, go grab some through Met Sales, try them out, and give us a go. And hopefully we'll delight you.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you that stuck through us till the end, we appreciate your time today and taking the time to listen to us chat some more about Esper. If you do have any questions, you want to test it out, please reach out to me or your Med Sales teammate that you work with, and we're excited to work with you. We're excited to help you learn more about Esper and test it out. Feel free, any question you have, please shoot it our way. We want to help you.
Great. Thank you both so much, and thank you all for attending. Have a great rest of your day, and we hope to talk with you soon.